Welcome back. Sorry about that, guys. Don't know what happened. YouTube. I don't know. Anyways, we're back for part two of Insomnia Tarot. And just to finish up my message here for Cancers, because I'm not sure where I got cut off, but yes, let's make this time of dreamland and waking up in the middle of the night and taking heed to those messages that are coming through from the divine. Okay. You can also write those down, like I was saying, like have a pad of paper, pen next to your bed to capture any messages that are coming through in your dreams. Also, just using this time of 2, 3, 4 a.m. When you're awake, productive, because there will be messages that come through at those wee hours of the morning, that wake you up, and you are able to channel the divine's messages for you at that time. And you'll start to see a pattern. You'll start to see things come through that will be powerful messages for your waking life as well. Okay. So, Cancer. You may have to go back to part one of this video to capture the main crux of the message that came through for you. But those are your messages. So please, on your way out, if this is when you decide to depart from us with Insomnia Tarot, go ahead and click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you'll know when new messages are posted for you. Okay, let me adjust my camera here. All right, and let's move on to Leo. So, all of you Leo insomniacs joining me, let's get some messages on the board for my Leos. Spirit, let's get some powerful messages on the board for my Leos regarding what they can expect to see coming at them over the next few days. What messages do you have, Divine, for my beautiful, lovely Leo souls? So, if you're just joining me now, in part one of this Insomniac tarot adventure here, I did messages for Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. And I just finished up my Cancer, or summarized my Cancer message for all of those Cancers. So now we're moving on to Leo. Leo. Hey, Zanab. I hope I didn't butcher your name there. Welcome. Welcome to the live. All right. So let's get some Leo messages on the board here for my beautiful Leos. What can they expect to see coming at them over the next few days? Hey, Zanab. I'm doing general messages at this time. So I'm doing fine. Thank you. I'm doing general messages at this time. You can either catch me via the information that will be in the description box, my email, and get a personal reading. Or, you know what, guys? Let me know. Let me know if you are interested in me coming on and doing personal messages via live, because I would love to do that. Like, that's something that I would like to get into. So, if that's something that you are interested in seeing, um, give this video a like, and then that way I know I can come on and do some personal messages for all of you. All right. So, let's get some messages on the board for my lovely Leos. What can they expect to see coming towards them over the next few days, Spirit? And we have assess the situation. And so, Leo, this is calling for some good old logical assessment, you know, taking stock of a situation, just really digging in and seeing what it is that you're missing at this time. Also, I'm getting an energy here with this assess the situation card, of reaching out to someone who has, more specific knowledge of what you're dealing with and gaining some advice from a wise elder, or maybe even like someone who's a professional in the situation. So, for those of you dealing with love situations, Leo, that you need advice on, this talks about getting a more expert point of view in regards to, yes, maybe you get a personal tarot reading to take a look at your situation and completely assess it, or if you are in a situation where you and the one, your significant other, are experiencing issues, that may be talking about doing something along the way of life coaching, counseling to help the situation as well. Looking at what your particular stigmas may be in regards to that, and working to move past those in order to get the assistance that is needed. Okay. And I have the Five of Pentacles in the reverse, which lets me know that for many of you, um, the difficulties that you are experiencing in this area, they are, or they will start to subside over the next few days. However, again, with assess the situation, this is going to be key that you take stock of what is currently happening and not being afraid to, or not being against seeking advice from someone with wisdom and knowledge in what you're dealing with, so that you can move forward, push through the blockages that you're experiencing at this time. And I'm really getting a strong feel that in regards to love, this is going to be important for you, Leo. Okay. And with the King of Wands in reverse, um, coming up to actually clarify that further, this is talking about emotionally getting things under control as far as how you present yourself, as well as making sure that the words you speak aren't being aren't coming off as harsh. Like, think twice, speak once, right? Like, making sure that you think about what you say before you say it, and how the person that you're saying them to, your person, Leo, is going to accept those words. And in the case that it may be coming off harsh, you want to come with a more gentle approach. All right. So, Leo, hopefully this has been a message that helps you, but really, I'm really seeing where you have to collaborate with someone else in order to help you at this time come across in the way that you wish to come across. And especially if you're dealing with difficulties, and especially if you're dealing with difficulties in love, because you're coming off in a cold, harsh way towards the one that you desire, and you need to make a change there. You need to kind of soften your approach. All right. So, Leo, hopefully you'll stay with us with this insomnia reading and just hang out. But if you choose to leave at this time, um, please hit the subscription button on your way out, so that you'll be in the loop for future messages that come your way. All right, so let's move on to Virgo. Spirit, let's get some messages on the board for my beautiful Virgo insomniacs. What will they be dealing with over the next few days? What can they expect to see coming towards them over the next few days? Let's get some messages for Virgo on the board. All right, and we have Go Wild, full moon in Leo, Go Wild. So as I was saying in part one of this video, sometimes we need to tap into the qualities of other signs, right? And we have all those signs within us, even though we may be a Virgo sun sign, a Virgo moon, a Virgo rising. There are other signs within us as well. So tap into the boldness of the Leo energy at this time, Virgo. And it feels like a reach for some of you Virgos to even think about doing that. But the truth of the matter is, you need a different approach, a bolder approach, in order to push over the finish line those things that you wish to attain, to desire, that you desire to obtain at this time. And for those of you Virgos who are tuning in for a love message, this really is about stepping outside of your normal um, Virgo flow and digging into the boldness of the Leo energy, because your partner wants to see something different from you. They want to see you step out of your shell, not be afraid, to be more spontaneous, more outgoing, more sociable. And sociable is what I'm getting. Like, your partner is particularly interested in this time at doing or engaging in activities that put you out in the way of being social, being in a situation where you feel like a spotlight is on you, which is something that you may normally shrink away from. They want you to step into that spotlight and be wild, be bold, right? Now, that doesn't have to mean like you just totally depart from who you are and how you do things to be someone completely different and uncomfortable for you. That just means taking those steps. Take those steps. Those steps will be acknowledged, and those steps will be um, rewarded, I feel, by many of your partners. So, Virgo, don't be afraid to step out into the spotlight and do something that people, or in particular your person, wouldn't wouldn't in a million years dream that you would do. All right? It's time to let loose. Let your hair down, Virgo, and do it without worrying about it, okay? And I have the Queen of Cups in the reverse, along with the Three of Swords. So, if you can't make this transition into just stepping outside the norm, getting outside of your everyday patterns, what I see, Virgo, is that it could lead to an undesirable outcome here for you over the next few days. So, the Three of Swords, we all know, if you pay attention to tarot at all, holds the energy of heartbreak, right? And so to avoid that, you want to keep check on your emotions and just allow yourself to be spontaneous without it creating a negative emotional effect. So instead of your partner suggesting something and you just outright flat out turning it down, or becoming angry and upset because they merely suggested it, it's asking you to be more understanding in regards to what your partner is putting forth at this time, right? And for others of you Virgos, I feel like this is in particular has to do with a type of business or work issue in which you need to stand up boldly for yourself without having that type of emotional meltdown over it, or extreme stress and anxiety and just kind of being out of control. If you want to reach the outcome that you desire, Virgo, you will have to step outside of yourself and not be afraid of standing in the spotlight. It's going to call for you not working behind the scenes at this time. It's going to call for you standing up, being bold, and stepping out. Okay? So that's what I get for you Virgos. Hopefully, you Virgo insomniacs will stay with us. But if you choose to leave at this time, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so future messages will be made available for you. All right. All right. So Virgo is done. Let's move into Libra. Libra. All right. Let's get some messages on the board for my beautiful Libras. Spirit, what messages do you have for my Libra insomniacs? What can they expect to see over the next few days? What should they be aware of? Excuse me. Libra, what do my Libras need to know about at this time, Spirit? And we have relax. All right, Libra. I think many of you Libras have been kind of running full steam ahead, is the feeling that I'm getting. You haven't been able to relax, hence the insomnia, right? You haven't been able to fully relax and just go with the flow. And I feel like it's very important. Go with the flow are the key words here, Libra. I feel like it's very important for you to go with the flow. And I also feel like many of you Libras are micromanaging a situation, and Spirit is saying that you need to like let go or loosen the reins somewhat, right? Allow someone else to have a chance to have input. Don't be that Libra who needs total control of a situation. Loosen the reins of control is what I'm getting here. All right. And we have the Queen of Wands in the reverse, along with the Hermit in the reverse. So, you know, being in a situation where you want to control the flow, the ebb and flow of what's happening, is leading to you being seen in a negative light by others, hence the Queen of Wands in reverse. In the upright, the Queen of Wands is very magnetic. She can draw in whomever and whatever she pleases. She gets a lot of attention, and it's admirable attention, right? And so the ability to do that, your ability to do that is being impacted by the fact that others are seeing you as a bit of a tyrant here, right? And with the Hermit in reverse, this is also, this is a very strong card of the divine, because if you look at this, everything about this card looks like this Hermit is very connected to the divine. But because you're not paying attention, close attention to the messages coming through from the divine, you're not exuding that energy, or you're not tapping into that energy that holds divine wisdom for you, right? Divine guidance. You're not following through on those things that would make you the success in all situations at this time, whether that's love, whether that's business and work, or any other situation in your life, a situation involving family, for example, because family is coming up as a key word for you guys as well. So instead of being viewed as the tyrant, look at ways to soften that energy about yourself, or that energy about yourself at this time, so that you can be seen in a different light. All right. Those are the messages coming through for my Libras. Hopefully you Libra insomniacs will stay with us. But if you choose to leave at this time, I ask that you subscribe to my channel so that you'll be in the loop regarding future messages for you lovely, beautiful Libra spirits. All right, so let's dig into messages for Scorpio. Scorpio. Spirit, what do you have for my beautiful Scorpio insomniacs? What messages do you have for them over what they can expect to see over the next few days? Scorpio, Scorpio spirit. All right, we have the message of honor your feelings. And the other card that wanted to jump out with it, which I will take, is reflect on your priorities. All right. So, Scorpio, I feel like many of you have been experiencing stress over the fact that you have not been able to achieve certain things, right? You don't have a certain status, whether that status is in the relationship realm or again in work and business. And for some of you, even a more specific message is, you're not feeling as if you have the status with your significant other. You feel that person's attention waning. You feel that person's attention is not on you in the way that you would like to see, or their attention is not on the relationship in a way that you feel will move it forward. And this is causing you a great amount of stress, right? And that stress is rooted, that anxiety is rooted in the fact that you're not honoring your feelings. Perhaps you're not speaking up for yourself in regards to what it is that you want to see, what you think is important, what your priorities are at this time for a situation. So, if you're denying your feelings, what is important to you in order to make others feel comfortable, then Scorpio, that's what's working against you at this time, okay? If you're not willing to let others, it's like a feeling of closing others out in regards to information, like not allowing others to see what it is that you feel is important at this time because you don't want others to see that deeply into you. Okay. And that's causing a fear in you, letting others see into you enough to see what's important to you. But you're coming off a little cold. You're coming off to be a little distant, and that's what others are reacting to at this time. They need to see the importance of your priority. They need to see why you think something is important. They need to understand it more closely. And in other words, you're going to have to let them in a little more so that they can see that about you, and that they can see that that honestly is how you feel and what you feel is important. And many of you are not, right? So assess how it is that you're coming off at this time, and assess how you can allow others to see more deeply into what is happening for you, and you still feel safe in doing that. Okay. So that is the main issue at this time, is what I'm picking up that's causing these kind of issues that you're dealing with. Okay. And so we have the King of Cups in the reverse, along with the Empress. And Scorpio, what you need to know is that you are exuding Empress energy, whether you're masculine or feminine, you're exuding Empress energy. However, you're hiding it because you're afraid to let others in the way that we just discussed. And so you're coming off as emotional in a negative sense, right? And others are seeing you, although you may, you know, there's a certain amount of emotion that a Scorpio exudes, period. However, others are viewing it as negative because of this blockage of not allowing them in to understand more clearly what it is that's happening inside of you and what is important to you. All right. There's nothing wrong with putting forth what you want, for standing up for what you want. And yes, it does give others insight into you, but examine how you're blocking others out in a way of seeing what's important to you, okay? Examine how you're holding back, because you need to loosen up and not hold back as much. All right? But make sure that your communication comes from a place more logically based, that reflects your priorities in a positive light, right? Don't hold in other words, don't hold back and hold in until the next time they get a communication or insight from you, it comes out as this emotional rush that feels strong and negative. All right? So, Scorpio, those are your messages. And hopefully, you Scorpio insomniacs will stay with us. But if you choose not to at this time, um, thanks for joining. And also, click that subscription button on your way out. All right? All right, so let's get some messages, Spirit, on the board for my beautiful Sagittarius. What can they expect to see coming towards them over the next few days, Spirit? What can Sagittarius expect to see coming towards them at this time? What messages do they need to have? And the first message I have is make time for self love. And Sagittarius. Excuse me. Many of you have seen an uptick in your personal responsibilities, meaning there's a lot going on in your world right now, and there's a lot of responsibility that you hold and are carrying more than usual is what I'm hearing. So you are involved in more situations, you are responsible for more things than what you have been used to in the past, right? So there's a lot of activity going on around you. And as a Sagittarius, you're jumping in with both feet to try to make things happen for everyone. But you're forgetting self, right? You're forgetting yourself in the whole process. And so this is talking about reaching back and just taking, I mean, sometimes you just have to take a short time out, right? A short time out. You're not going to let anything fall on the floor. You're just taking a short time out to just take some time and make sure that you are recharging, right? And of course, this is Insomnia Tarot. So if you're watching me now, you're probably, at least on this night, not getting good sleep for those of you watching that it is indeed nighttime. But, you know, it's it's those stresses of everything just running through your mind, right? It's those things that just keep going, 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 and you're trying to stay on that wheel and keep things going. Um, but everything, what you fear of everything hitting the ground, if you stop for a moment to recharge, will hit the ground, because you'll hit a space where you'll just kind of be wiped out, right? And then you'll be forced to recharge. So, Spirit is basically saying to you, take out a small time out, right? Recharge so that they don't, you're not in a situation where you're forced to recharge, okay? And so, even if you're not, again, getting the sleep at night, maybe set aside a time during the day when you take that little power nap, or when you go and you do something that you find very relaxing, rejuvenating, recharging for yourself. Make sure you build in some of that time, because you're feeling incredibly imbalanced at this time, okay? For some of you, it may even mean that if you are finding yourself in a state of insomnia constantly now, you know, that you make major changes to your schedule to accommodate that, right? At least temporarily. Sometimes we feel like if we make those types of changes, we have to make them going forward forever and ever. No, just make a temporary schedule change. That's one of the suggestions that I'm hearing coming through here from Spirit. So we have the Eight of Swords, no surprise, and the Five of Swords. Okay, so the Eight of Swords talks about a mental imprisonment, ruminating, going over and over and over again in your thoughts and being in an anxious state because of that. And the Five of Swords talks about, it can talk about backbiting people, after you, and you may be viewing the situation as such. But what Spirit is saying is what you may be viewing as backbiting, people working against you, the haters, really is just a result of people being in competition, right? They may be in competition for what you want, they may be in competition for what it is that you're trying to achieve. And yeah, there may be an element there of backbiting, but at the same time, that's that kind of unhealthy competition that some people engage in. But what Spirit is strongly speaking to here is that you, instead of focusing on the negative backbiting, focus on it, readjust your focus to look at it as this is competition. And Spirit is saying to you, you know how to deal with competition. You know how to shine when others can't even define what shine means. You know how to stand out in the crowd. Do what you naturally know how to do. Don't focus in on who's saying what and what kind of backbiting is happening and what's happening behind your back. Focus on how to increase your shine, because that will make you the winner in this situation. And Spirit is like, you, Sagittarius, naturally built into you, you have the ability to stand out and shine. You have the ability to um, inspire people to your message. You have the ability to lead in that way. You have this natural Pied Piper type ability about you, and you got to step into that. Get out of looking, get out of the mindset of looking at what others are doing and focus in on what you need to do to shine. All right, Sagittarius. That's your message, okay? For those of you signs that I did not cover in this reading, which is basically Leo, I'm sorry. Those of you signs that I did not focus in during this part of the reading, um, which is Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. You'll need to go back to part one of this reading because I got cut off, and look at those messages. And for those of you who joined me in both of these readings, despite the YouTube challenges and everything else, I thank you so much for joining me today and truly appreciate your presence. And I ask that you support my channel in a very free way, which just requires your energy to take that finger and click the subscription button, mash the notification bell so that when messages come in over the next few days for you specifically, you're the first one to know about it. I thank you, beautiful insomniacs, for joining me tonight in my insomnia. And I wish you all the best and hope to see you here again. All right. Until next time.